So yeah, obviously, since I was last on the podcast, Disney Plus has launched in the UK and a couple of other countries as
Really?
well. We were like the second wave, which ended up being even more fortuitous timing than Disney would have known, because that was was that the day after we were put on lockdown? Gotta remember. I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. It's on. So obviously, I had it, and I've been digging in, and I will share my overall thoughts quickly now, which is
Ooh,
that
real
I'm
quick,
actually
who is your profile photo image?
Timon. Although
Okay.
it was a hard choice. It was a hard choice because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get Meg, and we didn't have Meg, so I was like, ugh, fine,
Oh,
fine,
I picked Ursula.
nice. Oh yeah, very nice. It was. I always went Pegasus or Hades, and then I started thinking about James Woods, and I got sad, so I didn't.
That happens to me every time. I'm like, God, I loved Hades in that movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
James Woods.
Yeah, although I am definitely going to watch the Young Hercules TV series because I do remember for a short while I had Disney Channel, like the English version of it. I don't know how it works anymore in the UK, but yeah, for a little bit of my childhood, we had the English version. So we had all the same shows as America, but there's like a whole studio set up with UK presenters. It seems so weird and alien now. But yeah, and I remember Hercules was on and it was great.
Aw.
But anyway, so other than that, I'm actually a little bit disappointed in Disney Plus. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't seem as comprehensive as I thought it would be. And I will give them this that I'm a massive nerd. I have seen most of everything I want to see. So there are very specific things I'm looking for. But I think there is quite a difference between what we have on our Disney Plus and what is on the US Disney Plus at the moment. Like I hadn't really
Really?
realized. Yeah, I hadn't realized, but they haven't released all of things like The Mandalorian and the Imagineering story. We haven't got all of them. They're releasing them
Well,
weekly.
Oh
we
yeah.
got it weekly as well, which I've heard a
But you guys
massive.
already have it. So I was like,
Yes,
it's
I
kind of
and
annoying
I
that we have
don't
to wait.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know why
dumb.
they just didn't dump the Mandalorian all at one time, especially with
Yeah,
what's going on in the world right now. It
yeah.
just would have
No,
made
that's what I thought.
sense um, to,
And
to do
we
it,
didn't
and
have
everything.
Frozen. We didn't have Frozen 2. I mean, I've seen it. I wasn't like desperately looking for it, but when it came on, and I was like, oh, you've got to kind of work out how to navigate a whole platform again and how they're doing it. And it's really annoying because you have to start looking for stuff to get them to give you suggestions. So I was just throwing stuff in, and Frozen 2 wasn't on there. Rise of Skywalker wasn't on there. We don't have Onward, which was released, I think, on the 3rd in the US. They suddenly were like, oh, it's US only. And there's been no word on when we're going to get that in the UK. And that kind of seems a bit sucky because it would have been out here now as well. So I'm a
Yeah,
little bit
that's
salty.
those are odd, and that's kind of. I don't want to say I was kind of waiting for this to happen.
Yeah.
This sounds like exactly what I thought Disney was going to do. Is you guys are always going to be like the delayed ones.
Which is silly because all that does is encourage piracy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Same thing with The Mandalorian is like I might as well just go find all of it now and watch it at one time than wait weekly, especially because most of Star Wars nerds already know
yeah.
everything that's in there.
Yeah, and
So
then also from my nerdy point of view, I was like, okay, great, the old stuff. Like obviously I went and watched Steamboat Willie again, but I was like, okay, great. The shorts, and the first thing I wanted to do was I was like, I want to go find the Silly Symphonies, and they're not on there. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of like a pretty major part for me of like the original Disney canon that's not available. So
I don't think we
I'm
have that
hoping.
either.
Yeah, so I'm a bit like I thought the whole point was it was supposed to be everything except obviously Song of the South, and
no,
it's not.
and I remember Disney kind of saying that they're going to rotate things.
Mm,
They seem very again Disney with this Michael Eisner '90s vault mentality. It
Yeah.
exactly.
still
Yeah.
seems like that on this streaming service, and it's not as bad as that. I think he really hurt and helped Disney with the vault stuff. That was such an odd time.
I
Remember when
get
that was
it
a
because
thing?
like people
But
like me just went out and bought the film, the VHS and the DVD because I wanted to watch it. Ironically, I actually own a couple of I like Saludos Amigos and Make Music, was it one of the melody ones, whatever. One of them was again that's actually not on there. I own a couple of the really obscure ones because I wanted to watch them for research. Um, but yes, I did think as well. I hadn't thought of. I guess if Disney puts everything on there now, where do they go from there? Because the only thing that's going to keep people wanting Disney Plus to be a major platform they pay is the new stuff. And I don't think
Hmm.
that they can produce the new stuff at the rate at something like Netflix does, because Netflix is bringing it in from other companies as well as themselves. And I know Disney kind of has that set up, I guess, with The Simpsons and like Fox and other things, but I don't think it's enough.
No, because most of the heavy Fox stuff is going to Hulu, like all the FX stuff that they purchased. Yeah, it's odd. I don't know why they're doing this again, and I get it that they want new stuff, but especially right now, they don't have WandaVision to post. Winter Soldier and the Falcon wasn't done filming, so they don't
Mm,
have the new
yeah,
stuff even that they were promising as well. This is just showing the flaws. I think everyone thought Disney Plus was going to come out, and Disney being the Disney company, streaming services aren't easy. And
no,
I'm really glad HBO Max has waited till after Disney Plus so they could be like, what did we learn from them? Also, HBO Max is going to have a far bigger archive than
yeah.
this, so I think they'll
But
be a
yeah,
little bit
I think, yeah, I think one of the problems that Disney's had is I think they've over relied on
Disney.
selling the whole. Yeah, it's going to be everything ever happened to Disney, and then someone like me who's nerdy's gone on and been like, actually, no, this isn't here that I'm looking for. This isn't here that I'm looking for, and then it makes me feel a bit cheated. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And then, in fairness, start to think about all of these questions we've just been having, and I will go out right now and say I don't know if I'll have this next year. I signed up early, so got the cheaper deal, and I know I'll happily kind of get right into it for a year. But depending on what comes up down the line, I don't know if I would hold on to it. I'd have to see, because there's a lot of competition out there. And I guess the other thing as well is I know in the US, obviously they do the Hulu, Disney Plus
Hmm.
package, and also is it National Geographic? We have some National
No,
Geographic stuff as
ESPN.
well.
Ours is
Thank you. That's it.
ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN. Thank you. And as far as I'm aware, there are plans for Hulu to be rolled out in Europe, but nothing solid has been said yet. And I'm kind of thinking if they wait too long, it might be an issue. And yeah, you're right, EJ, because they've had to halt production on their earlier Marvel stuff. I think they're gonna be forced to try and put filler in for now to keep people happy.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think this was they should. I can't believe they didn't have more ready to go. This was a
Yeah.
problem people had right after when they finished The
Yeah.
Mandalorian, and they're like, okay, so what now? And again, you can.
Mhm.
I when I had my trial, I watched Hercules. I watched all the movies I
Yeah.
wanted to watch, and then I was done.
Yeah.
And but this is also me not being a big Disney fan. My venturing wasn't going to be as long or as in depth as yours. So that was
Mm.
my problem. Is like I wanted to watch WandaVision and all that, so because I could review it and things like that. And I kind of like Scarlet Witch and all that. So I was like, ooh, Elizabeth Olsen. Ooh, a TV show. Fine. I'm
Mm.
not getting it. So now I'm just like, do I just keep finding emails and doing free trials when these things come out? Like I just kind of it was just an odd feeling. So I don't want to say I'm happy to hear you guys aren't like in love with it, but it just kind of made us as US people go, okay, we all kind of had the same experience with Disney Plus of going, it's fine. I wouldn't
Mm.
say it's a bad streamer. I think it's well made, and I think they've fixed some things and all that that I had issues with at the beginning. But I just look at it, and I'm like, this is fine. This is definitely for hardcore Disney people. I thought, and then with you, I consider you one of the biggest Disney people I know, and you're just kind of like, it's fine. So it's kind of
Because I
shocking
get,
to me.
yeah, because I kind of guess from my point of view, things I own a lot of the stuff that I wanted to watch. So I feel like maybe they didn't think of that. They didn't think of people who are really big Disney fans being sated by what they have on the platform, considering I already own a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I wish they dug deeper into the old animation stuff because
yeah,
that's the stuff that I like. If
yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that would have kept me invested in this because like old Donald Duck cartoons, like I'm
Mm,
into that. Like I look like I'm not I'm not like a flag waving Disney fan, but I do love Donald Duck. Like I really love like
yeah.
the old Carl Barks Donald Duck comics and stuff like that. So of course, like I love Ducktales. Ducktales is on there. The '80s
Oh,
'90s one, not that new one. That new one is just as trash as like any other child's cartoon coming out right now. Like it's that nonsense, random
Cartoon
bullshit.
Network has it going on. Shut your mouth. I watch a lot of Cartoon Network still, so.
I maybe it's just me being old. I mean, people my age probably looked at the cartoons like that I grew up with and thought the same thing, I guess. But like, I don't know. I think the old DuckTales show is still
Yeah.
just like still holds up, and that's on there, and that's worthwhile. Um, I don't own as much. Well, that's not true. I think I do own like all of the movies that I'd actually want to watch on here. I was about to say I don't own Fantasia. Yes, the fuck I do. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Because I own a double pack of Fantasia and Fantasia 2000.
Oh yeah.
I
Um,
remember when that came out. Oh man, that was a weird. I remember that double pack because I was gonna say I still have clamshell VHSs somewhere.
yeah.
So like I
I
understand.
did, and then my mum got rid of them all, and I'm really mad because I reckon they'll be worth
I
something.
I
And
see it in the box when I go into the garage. I see a big orange one, and I know it's Nickelodeon. Like I think it's the Rugrats movie, and I just love seeing that in there because I'm like, I remember when Nickelodeon did those ugly orange big shelf
yeah,
things. Oh man, 90s VHSs. We don't have that anymore with DVDs and Blu-rays. Steelbooks are okay, but I
mm.
miss those big clamshell VHSs.
Yeah, those were fun and just weird texturally.
Yeah.
Uh,
uh,
they
I
felt
am gonna correct myself. Sorry, just briefly on the being mad about Silly Symphony aren't being there. Some of them are.
yeah.
I've just been looking through a list. Like I know, um, the old mill is there and flowers and trees are there, but like some of the iconic ones, and being me, I was like, I want to watch the first one, which is the skeleton dance, and that's not there. That makes me sad, especially when I was like looking at that thing which was Disney through the decades, and I was like, click, this it's me. And then yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't me.
it's just not as thorough as it could be, which like I think that things like that because there's not that to my knowledge, I don't claim any expertise, but to my knowledge, they never really did like an extensive release of those old cartoons. Like they
No,
never did like a
I
collection.
tried. I tried to buy some of again, there are some of the Mickey ones are on there. I don't think all of them. I was trying to buy some of those, and you could get the Silly Symphonies in like a DVD thing. But when I say you could, it's in inverted commas. It's basically these DVDs were on my like Amazon wish list
Hmm.
for years because it was like, oh, they were released once, and if I buy it now, it'll be $95 plus whatever postage packing, and it will take
Yeah,
8 weeks to get to me. So I never bought it.
yeah.
Um,
oh good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has like a DVD that's like $95 and I'm like, I'm not it's staying there. I
Oh
want
yeah,
you.
yeah. I have. I was
Okay,
looking through
good.
my wish list the other day, and I was like, I have had some DVDs on here for like over a decade because it's like some weird Disney one, or it's a classic from the 40s. Like and again, the other thing as well is that if it's region one or region two, generally it's harder to get like the old classic stuff region two than it is region one.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I've had Yankee Doodle Dandy, which is the film James Cagney won an Oscar for, a musical, ironically. That has also been on my Amazon wish list for years because it's like it's just never in that affordable price bracket. Um, but yeah, having kind of been a bit near on Disney Plus, I will say I have been enjoying some of the stuff. Um, I like The Mandalorian. It wasn't a surprise because I knew it was going to be all about the child. But oh my god, Baby Yoda is so cute. I kind of hate myself for falling into that trap because I was like, yeah, Baby Yoda, whatever. But it's all the little sounds he
Oh,
makes.
yeah, it's the sound, it's the puppet. Puppets will win me over
Yeah.
for the rest of my life. Like,
And
you
like he's
show me
just
a good
there. He
puppet.
like moves him and puts
Yep.
him down and it's like stay. And then the next screen he's like at his feet. And then I think the most recent episode that was the fourth one. I'm up to date with what's out in the UK at the moment. And it's the one where there's the fight going on, and then you just see him sipping his bone broth watching it. And I was like, oh my God, that's that meme now in context for me. And it really is just him being like,
Yeah, it is the
watching.
shadiest, like, "Oh, you guys are still fighting."
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, that little Yoda design is still one of my favorite things ever. His little oversized outfit, everything. It's the best thing Disney has done in a long time is Baby Yoda, and good for them, and it sucks that I don't think they ever really got to, make all the toys that they wanted because they planned it. It was supposed to come out this year, and then the world went crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I don't know how it ends, but I'm certain there's probably going to be a second season of The Mandalorian
Oh
at
yeah.
least.
they are filming it right
I mean,
now.
yeah, as you know, I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, so I don't really know how it kind of feeds into details that people with more knowledge, like how that would work for them, if I think it's really great or not. But just as kind of like an enjoyable ride and concept, like it's kind of basic and I know what's coming, but that doesn't really stifle my enjoyment. Like I like it. I'm all here for the guy that doesn't take his helmet off because he hasn't yet. I don't know if he will. I'm kind of assuming he will at some point, but he has not yet. And that, upsettingly, that works for me.
Yeah, I
So
I like The Mandalorian. I know whenever it was coming on, I was up and down with it, but overall,
I remember
I
I was
enjoyed
thinking,
it.
I'm pretty sure it was your first up and down until you like launched into a new one for Picard.
Yeah, at least that ended, and I was like, that was a good time. Instead of my reaction to Picard. Um,
Never speak with this again.
yeah, one of the things that I think Disney Plus was really good for me is going back to the Marvel cartoons that came out when I was younger and realizing just how shit they all were.
Oh, X-Men the animated series is so badly animated. I think it has some of the best stories. I love because they really did just pull them from the comics,
Yeah, they
but
did
it
that
looks
well,
so
but
bad.
yeah, and the voice acting is terrible. The dialogue is shit. It's not like because people always reference that and like Batman the animated series, like having grown up with those, and that
Oh,
was
Batman's
Fox
a good
Kids.
show though.
Yeah, Batman's still a good show. X-Men is fucking not.
Spider-Man's fine though. I
Spider-Man
watched
is
some of
fine.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is
It's fine.
it holds up more than any of them. That Iron Man
I call it
show.
Boys Tiger because of that show. That Mary Jane was burned into my head.
Yeah,
Uh,
that the Iron
uh,
Man show that came out then, bad. It's not good at all. That
oh, there's
Fantastic
the
Four
Silver
show.
Surfer show too.
Oh, the Silver Surfer show isn't good either. That Fantastic Four show is the epitome of like it is the worst of those. It does every bad thing that any of those shows do, and like puts them on the characters that otherwise nobody gave a fuck about by the 90s. But because of that, it is the most endearing one to me. It's like it might be the only one worth going back to watch just because it is so fucking terrible that it doubles back to being interesting. But
Oh god, I love it so bad. It's good.
but yeah, like I guess I like looking at it now because I just pulled it up over here just to be like, why am I paying this monthly fee? Uh, and there are a lot of things on here that I do enjoy, and I should probably dig into. But overall, I enjoy Disney Plus. It's not going to be a mainstay for me. I will eventually just cancel it and maybe come back to it, as things come out.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, exactly. Just because the initial stage might have been a little bit disappointing for us, I don't think it means that Disney Plus is not going to work. Like they have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff in the works. They have poured a lot of money into the stuff that they want to make, mainly other studio stuff, which is fine.
Mm.
But it's going to take a while to come down the line to us, particularly now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
And
kind of the same. Like they have me obviously for the year, and we'll see how we go. But even if I were to cancel, then I'd probably come back after, depending on what was coming up.
yeah, but I
You know,
mean,
the more old stuff they've
for
got
the
on there.
record, it might not have everything that we're looking for or be as interesting
Mm.
to us as maybe we were hoping, but it is packed with content. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
here.
And I mean, I will say, I was sitting down last night watching Disney Fairy Tale Weddings, and I'm not ashamed to say that because I was like, oh my god, this is if Disney made Say Yes to the Dress. This is like TLC, but with Disney sanitation and sparkle. And you guys know that I love the Disney parks, so it was kind of fun for me to be like, oh look, they're getting married somewhere I've been, but probably will not be going back to for the foreseeable future. So I did enjoy that, except the two presenters were very annoying. There's a guy called Twitch, which, yeah, is a silly name. Sorry.
Oh, Twitch. He's a dancer. That's odd. Why is he doing that?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Someone said he was on So You Think You Can Dance. I have no. It's him and his wife. I don't know anything about them.
Oh, I just know
Uh,
Twitch. He is on Ellen as her DJ. I think so. And I'm always just like,
okay.
oh, he does things. That's
Well,
Well, I
America.
mean,
We have
literally,
like people. We have people who host things that I'm like, Why are you
Yeah.
hosting something?
But
Who?
literally all they do, I mean, I'm guessing it was originally on like one of the channels because it's kind of set up for the ad breaks on that aren't ending on Disney Plus. But like it's literally him and his wife. They just stand in front of the castle at Magic Kingdom
I'm
and
sure it was
chat.
probably. Actually, I don't know what that would have come on, but Ellen's ABC, right?
Yeah, that would make sense, I
Yeah,
think.
so
But
he'd have
anyway,
already
yeah,
been
no,
working for the company.
that makes sense. So yeah, I'm watching it, and what's so funny is my mum has been watching it too, and she's just like, when are they going to talk about the budget? And I was like, never, because Disney don't talk about how much this shit costs. We don't talk about the fact that no normal person could afford any of
Yeah.
it. No.
Yeah,
All you need to know is that one of the couples in the first episode, they work in like randomly quite boring titled finance jobs, which means they're loaded, which is why they're doing this. So, yeah, that's beside the point as far as this is concerned. But yeah, I enjoy that. In fairness, if we're running like a full gamut of the content they have that stuff. They have the behind the scenes park stuff. The Imagineering story, I thought I would like it, and I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, it's good.
There's stuff I know, but there's also a lot I don't.
Yeah, it's
And
fascinating. I started watching that after we came back from Disneyland, so it was. I kind of wish I had watched it before so that could appreciate some of it maybe a little bit more.
You'll
But
just need to go back, Alan. It's all good. Just go back and enjoy it. Go back and give them more of your hard-earned money. That's how this works.
now I just regret not doing the Matterhorn, but it was
Yeah,
very packed.
I love that they went into the mountain there because I had heard that basketball court thing.
Yeah.
And I love how they were like, there isn't one, and then showed how there basically is.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, my final thing on Disney Plus, because sorry, this wasn't supposed to be our big conversation, but this was the thing that gave me a real of excitement when I saw it was I love that they had the documentary Waking Sleeping Beauty on there. I don't know if either of you guys have seen it.
Mm-mm.
This was something that was in my Amazon wish list. I think I was recommended it the year it came out in 2009. So that's how long I've been wanting to watch it, but I just couldn't get it in the UK. That was one of the first things I watched. And I feel like you don't have to be as nerdy as me to find it interesting because it's basically the run up to the Disney Renaissance. It goes from I think 84 to 94. And it talks about how at the beginning of the 80s, everything was just crap for animation. They didn't know what they were doing. And there was a lot of tension between the old guard and the new animators coming out. You see a bit of Tim Burton around and about. Basically, it's loads of young Cal Arts graduates, and basically them and how they figured out their way in Disney and how Disney kind of had to eventually adapt to make films that would become more successful.
Wait, what is
so
this?
They kind of go Waking Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
And it's basically it goes from their slump in animation terms in the 80s when they were making stuff like Oliver and Company, Rescuers, exactly, which they have their fans but are kind of not as well regarded. It basically takes them up into working on The Lion King, and then obviously as everyone knows, and sorry, Beauty and the Beast as well, so everyone kind of knows from Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, and then depending on how you think, Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, the Renaissance of the 90s. It's really interesting.
Does it go into the Don Bluth fallout?
Yep, it goes into all the fallouts. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say that it's super unbiased because it's
of course
Don Hahn and Peter Schneider produced it, who are kind of involved. But what is interesting is it goes hardcore into the Roy E. Disney, Michael Eisner, and Jeffrey Katzenberg issues. And then Frank Wells, and basically how Frank Wells was the nice guy who tried to stop people from killing each other. And if you want to see Disney animators recreating and filming Apocalypse Now, you should watch the documentary. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I actually that
was my recommendation.
That's fascinating to me, especially because I really do enjoy the Don Bluth stuff, and I guess he left in the
Yeah, so that kind of is the first big thing they talk about. They don't go into loads of detail because it's kind of more about Jeffrey Katzenberg and him coming aboard and the animators adapting to him and how he worked in their favor, or kind of he tried to like against Michael Eisner. It's basically like it's basically Disney talking about how there's only so much money and where they're giving it to, and the animators having to really put up a fight. And like basically most of the time being overworked, underpaid. Like they do go into that, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say, well, then Disney for putting it on your platform, but obviously it's still not really the full story.
Yeah, of
but it's
course
worth,
not.
They do talk. One of the first things to talk about is about the Don Bluth leaving and taking a whole load of animators with him.
Yeah, and then that, like, I like 80s Disney. I think he left in the early 80s, and then, like,
Yeah.
I think he went and did, like, Secret of NIMH, American Tail, and stuff, but, like, somehow the Disney stuff that they were producing then is still very much kind of like the shit that he would have been doing, or an answer to the shit he would have been doing.
Yeah, exactly. You compare it and you could tell, like if someone showed it to you, they'd be like, what decade was this? You would guess the 80s. I guess what's just interesting is it's really Disney having to kind of, not having to reveal, everyone knows it's all about money, but being like, it doesn't matter that this film is popular now. At that moment in time, we released it and it didn't make that money and we can't justify it.
Yeah.
I think at one point they say they have, there's like a famous meeting. I won't say where it comes, but I also can't remember exactly. But basically they fly all of these animators. I think they had an office in Paris. They fly them over to New York to have a meeting about how they can't spend a single dollar more on the film, and then they fly them back, Concorde. It's just like the most expensive meeting ever to tell them that they can't spend any more money on the film they're worth, which I enjoyed.
Jesus.
So yeah.
Cool. I will actually watch that.
That's my number one recommendation at the moment. Yeah. But obviously, though, if you're that way inclined, anyone listening, watch Disney Fairy Tale Weddings. If you want that kind of trashy escapism, I've watched it. I'm not going to be judging you. So.